So one of my husband's favorite things that I do to him is I give him like a 5-6 hour routed drive day, and then I asked to go to a field trip on top of it. So on our way from Steamboat Springs to Provo, Utah, I asked to go to a field trip to Dinosaur National Monument.
Spoiler alert, dinosaurs are dead, nothing there.
Ha 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 ha. What did you think about the dinosaurs that we saw?
We got to take a choo-choo train there.
Yeah, it was kind of like a choo-choo train. It was like a shuttle bus, like at a zoo.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it had been the same shuttles in service since the shuttle started, because they had pictures from like the 60s. It was
Yeah.
the exact same shuttle.
Yeah, but you didn't go too far, and it's really cool. It's this indoor structure that has all of these dinosaur fossils like intertwined and on top of each other.
On the side of a mountain, they carved
On the
out.
side of a mountain, yeah, that they then built a building off of to preserve. And what's fun fact is that there are no small dinosaurs or like smaller creatures of any kind that are there. And the reason they're all piled on top of each other is because of a river. No.
They're like, I don't want these.
No, because of a river that kind of swept through the area. It took all the smaller stuff with it. And so all these huge dinosaur fossils are on top of each other. Do you think that the field trip was worth it?
Yeah. Anytime there's a national monument or national park or historical marker, then we have the opportunity to stop. I think that's the whole point of being in an RV and not, or even road trips in general, not flying from destination to destination, is you get the opportunity to stop at these places when you drive by.
So when I schedule a 6-hour drive day and ask you for a field trip, you're excited?
No.
Oh. So
maybe afterwards, not during the drive day.
No. So there are a lot of mountains, if you didn't know, from Colorado to Utah. So I drove instead of hauling the Jeep for the last part through the mountains, which was actually really fun because it's a really beautiful drive coming into Provo. Utah, we've spent a lot of time in. We've been to several national parks before in Utah, but that was actually not our point for blocking Utah on like our route. I was actually just trying to get from Colorado to Montana, which is our next kind of 3-week, almost month-long stint. And we just needed a place to go in between since we try to do a lot of our traveling on the weekend because we do a lot of school and work activities during the week. And so it was kind of our pit stop. And
for a week,
Utah is not a pit stop state. But it was for us because I have some friends there that I wanted to see. So we got to see the amazing, shout out, Catherine and McCall Jones, their sisters-in-law. And we got to meet Catherine's baby, who we haven't gotten to see. We didn't get to go to her wedding. And we hadn't met her baby. Yeah, she was telling us that she has massive stranger danger right now, but it didn't show to us. It's just, when you have those friends that you don't have to talk to all the time, you don't have to see all the time or live in the same place. That's how I feel about Catherine and McCall. Like, we always pick up right where we were. And so I very selfishly picked Provo. And we've stayed in downtown Salt Lake City before. There's a KOA there. But we stayed at the KOA in Provo so that I could be close to friends. McCall got to come see our RV. She's actually like the only person not in Kansas City who's gotten to like tour it and see us in real life and like came to visit us at an RV park, which was really sweet. And then we got to go out and have a little outing. That was very interesting. Okay, so I am in Provo, Utah, and earlier this week I got to see Catherine Jones, which was amazing because she's one of my favorite people ever. And now I'm with her sister-in-law, McCall Jones, and we just went and got a soda because that's what they do in Utah because there are so many Mormons, if you didn't know. Fun fact. So her light came on and she just filled up
a giant nail in my tire. This is crazy. Look how big it is!
Ah! So apparently our RV luck is now being transferred over to the cars of the friends we're hanging out with. So good times. No national parks in Utah this time. And I will say, I don't know if it's because we didn't go do the beautiful things, but Utah like hurt my feelings this trip because we learned that Salt Lake City is actually one of the dirtiest cities, like air quality wise.
Yeah.
And I thought my face was dying the whole time we were there.
Yeah, the air quality was really bad.
Yeah, we kept Googling, like we didn't know if there were forest fires nearby or what was happening. And you actually found a lot of statistics about Salt Lake City, and like they do a lot of excavating in the mountainside, like for soil and rocks.
Yeah, but also just it's situated between mountains. Unlike Denver, which is just next to one mountain range, Salt Lake City is surrounded by mountains. And so it kind of keeps whatever bad air is around it. It sits right there. And so you could even tell, like in the morning, sometimes we would wake up and it would be like
you couldn't see,
really
hazy. Yeah.
And it was like that all week, unfortunately.
Yeah. So I was having some sinus stuff. It wasn't the greatest KOA that we've stayed with. We're pretty loyal to KOA. We stay at other places too, but if we're going to stay at a chain, it's usually KOA because we get those member rewards that we've talked about.
And we usually know what we get.
Yeah.
We know what to expect. We know what the park's going to be like and the amenities.
And this one looked like it was going to be cool. It had the pool, which we did go to once. And it also had this really cool like billiards, huge game room. But the problem was we went and like everything you had to go to the office and pay for. We are in Provo, Utah. It's a pretty cool place. This is like, they call it the clubhouse, but they have like a whole slew of things going on. My only complaint is that like every single thing costs money. So really the only reason to hang out in here for free, for enjoyment, would be for the AC, the big couches and the TV. But they do have lots of options. We just typically, I don't know, don't want to spend $3 on an arcade game, I guess. So, but pretty cool facility and definitely something I haven't seen before. If I could vote though, I would go back to Golden, to the fitness center. And something we realized that you actually noticed is that a really high percentage of the people in this park were full-time residents. And so we think maybe that is part of what contributed to it just being kind of a strange experience. But I will say usually Utah, I'm like 10 out of 10. And it was kind of like a meh experience, which was fine because like I said, it was a layover. We were really focused on maintaining our schedule. And also this week we did a joint workshop. So we were really focused on work because I let the free papa into the free mama to talk about what you do.
Yeah, I got to do a webinar with 60, I think, people online going over Google Ads, which was really, really fun. And I was really...
I think we went like 2.5 hours.
It ended up being 2.5 hours, supposed to be 2.
Crazy.
But it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, a lot of time during the week there in Utah was dedicated to prep and just getting everything ready. So it was a busy work week, but I think we had good Wi-Fi and we had good,
you were inside for the presentation.
Weather,
I was outside.
And we actually, even though the park wasn't the best, we did have a really nice patio site.
Yeah.
We had a large concrete patio at the end of
like a line, a row.
Yeah. And the kids played outside extensively.
The whole week. Literally. This is the week where I think their minds shifted about life. Like when I look back on my life as a little girl, I played a lot with dolls. I played with Barbies. I mean, I'd love to go fishing and be outside with my dad too, but if I was like in a playroom playing, it was dress up, Barbies, dolls, and we'd play house or we would play school. Like that's what I remember doing with like my cousins as a little kid. And this is the week where watching Henry and Audrey outside so much, they were playing with Legos. All our kids love Legos, and they started building RV parks. And we would hear them, and they were playing homeschooling. And so it kind of, I don't know, it made us smile, and they were getting along so well that we did not get as much school done probably with them, but it's kind of a different type of learn. I mean, they were so cooperative. They were being so innovative. Henry is like engineering these crazy RVs of like with what they want, and like
Ben built an RV park
around it,
park and a dog park
with like an office.
The door to get in the trailer that I built. This is toast and coffee for the morning. This is a key to lock and unlock the RV. This is a bed. And they just keep this inside while you're moving. You put it right here, right here so it won't move. Well, it won't
On your
move on
perch?
its own. Yeah.
Pretty sweet RV, dude. What do you got going on over here? Audrey, what do you have?
The front desk of the RV park.
Yeah. Want to show me? Okay, so we've been gone 6 weeks and now we play RV. It was really cool to see their creativity about this new lifestyle of ours sort of coming out and then being able to express it in their own way. So if you watched our video about our time in Golden, Colorado, which we still miss. We love the Goldens in Golden with our Golden. I ended up doing a retreat with my business, The Free Mama, and had, around a dozen women coming out to Evergreen, Colorado. And I always love to do mindset challenges because so much of business, if you are not a business owner or being in an RV or doing anything hard, it's mental. It's like the mental part of it. And so we did an ice bath challenge at that retreat. And I ended up buying one off Amazon, which I've had a lot of people ask me for the link. We'll put the link down below, but I bought it. I own it. It's on the RV now. And so Justin, ever since then, was kind of like, I want to do it. Like, if you can do it, I can do it. I want to do it. So we actually set up the ice bath, and then you weren't actually the only one to do it.
No, and we did it on a really hot day, which maybe worked out better for me because
It's kind of like cheating. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. I was, I was in
It's
my
hard
bathing suit and I was
anyway.
kind of warm in the sun before I got in, and then warmed up probably faster than normal when I got out.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun, and I think someone online asked when I posted it on like Instagram, like, how often do you do it? And I'm like, well, I would like to do it every week, but we're headed to cold weather right now, so I don't know that we'll be doing it in the next few weeks.
For me, it's less about the cold weather. I'm just like a rule follower, and a lot of parks, like, they kind of, like, you can be seen, you're kind of watched, and it takes a lot of water to fill these tubs. They don't look big, but it takes a lot of water. So I'm more like, it's the effort, it's the water that we're taking.
I mean,
That's
I've
my
got
issue.
a 91-gallon water tank on board,
Well.
and I fill that up before we boondock.
All right, well, fill her up. So you did the ice bath, and then
I've got
two of our 3
90-gallon
kids.
water tanks if you include the 2 gray water tanks.
You sound really proud.
I'm just saying, the little ice bath is nothing compared to the water where we could.
So you're saying you're afraid of
Accumulate.
cold weather.
I don't want to hop in an ice bath and hop out into ice cold weather.
I mean, it's a mental challenge.
But for a
Be strong.
challenge,
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it. But the kids did it, and we only let them stay in for a minute. But they did it, and it's just, it is a
Yeah,
really, really good challenge of mind over matter. Like, it's a really good, like, it almost takes your breath away when you
Yes.
get in an ice bath. And I saw this with a lot of my students too, like almost like a mini panic attack coming on, because you kind of start to like hyperventilate. It's so cold. And so the real challenge is like slowing your breath and then just sitting with it. And like 2 of our kids did it. Daphne was like, we're solid. I'm totally not doing this. But that was kind of cool. And so that was one of our like family bonding, I would say, highlights of our time in Utah that had absolutely nothing to do with Utah whatsoever.
So the last thing we had to do before we left Provo was get an oil change in the RV. I knew that was coming up based on the mileage on the RV, and since we were headed towards more, I guess, rural areas, I really needed to get it done in Provo. So we have a gas-powered Class A. It's a 7.3-liter Ford V8, which technically...
Which means nothing to most of us.
Well, it can be...
If you know, you know.
We had to get oil change. All the RV service places in town were booked for weeks in advance, so I couldn't get into something like a Camping World for their service center. No problem. Like I said, it's a gas-powered V8. It's a Ford. A Ford dealership should be able to accommodate us if they've got the right equipment. I did a lot of research online. I found a Ford dealership that mentioned that they can do RVs. They had 2 locations. One was in Salt Lake City. One was in Provo. I noticed all the RV language was on the Salt Lake City website, so I called the Provo location. I was like, can you do what they do? And there was some back and forth. They ended up calling me back and saying, bring it on in. So I took it down there, and I knew as soon as I pulled into the service, I was like the first one there early in the morning, I dropped Where did I drop you guys off at?
No, we drove.
They drove
we
up-
had
yeah, they
the
drove- they
Jeep.
drove the
We
Jeep
drove
to
to
a
a
Starbucks,
Starbucks, but what you have to keep in mind is we have a dog. So we left the cat on board for the oil change and just told them,
Yeah.
like, there's a cat in here. You can't leave the door open.
They did.
And I had to sit outside at a Starbucks with a dog, 3 kids, one who had school. I
Not
had a
knowing what
team
I would do.
meeting. Yeah, I had a team meeting
Yeah.
with like just hold on tight. So we ended up having breakfast there, and because you had to be there at like 7 a.m. or something.
I
so
wanted
we had
to
to
be the
get up
first
really
one
early.
there.
Yeah, which makes sense. And we had to drive that day. We did
Yep,
it on
it was
our
a
way
drive.
out of town.
So I show up to the service center, and I could tell like right immediately, like the service man, like the service guy's eyes. He looked at me and he's like, "What
don't
are
wanna
you
do
doing
this."
here?" Yeah, he was looking at me like, "Dude, did you make a wrong turn?" So I'm like, "Oh boy, here we go."
You're like, I talked to your manager.
Yeah, I get out and I'm like, "Hey, I called in advance. You guys called me back and said you can do an oil change on this. It's a V8, it's a Ford. I just need an oil change." And he's looking at me like, "Dude, I don't know about this." You know, with an oil change in any service, and you don't usually want to lift the car up. It makes it a lot easier to get underneath, especially on an oil change. You can drain the oil from the oil pan. And so he's like, "I don't even know that we can. Let me go confirm." Like, I did on the phone, but whatever. But he comes back like 5 minutes later. It's like, "Hey, I think we can do it, but we can't put this on a lift. We don't have a heavy-duty lift that can accommodate it. So we're gonna have to go do it out in the parking lot." And I'm like,
You're like, whatever.
yeah, I'm like, I don't care, right? And like I said, I was the first one there, so there was no one else there, which I think worked in my favor because one, they can tackle it right now, and there's just more room for air and it taking longer, I guess, not knowing there's not cars in front of us. So they tell me where to go. I end up blocking an entrance to the service. So they're like, now they're really motivated to get this done. And a guy crawls underneath the RV to drain the oil and does everything. Lauren mentioned the cat. I told them, "Hey, there's a cat on board. Please close the door." They did not. Door was wide open. So we did getting the oil change. But when I came back, I had to go find our cat Stoops. He was there and he gave me this look like, "Dude, if we were at a park, maybe, but I don't want to live at a Ford dealer. Let's get
Yeah. And so we did.
So we left, and I think I went to a Walmart. I found a parking lot to go park and get a couple things. All right, so I successfully got the oil changed at a Ford dealer, but since they had to do it in the parking lot, I was actually blocking a gate, so they kicked me out. Lauren and the kids are still at a Starbucks getting their school and work done this morning, so I'm here at a Walmart parked, and there's a McDonald's right here in front of me, so I'm gonna go grab some coffee and wait for the kids. And just an example of what it's like living on the road. It's not always perfect. You got to take care of the RV, got to take care of the cars, and finding a place to park this is the hardest part. I think all in, it took 2 hours, 2.5, maybe. I don't know.
Probably not even that, honestly.
Yeah. It was just one of those moments where it was something that had to get done. We couldn't be together because they also had things they had to get done. Mm-hmm. So we parted ways and made sure everything worked out. Now I know, I need to look out months in the future now to know where we're going to be and try to book an appointment for service.
Yeah, cars are easy. The Jeep's easy to go get an oil change.
Yeah, Jiffy Lube will do it.
Yeah.
But like we're going to need brakes and tires here in a couple months. So already I'm like, I should probably go ahead and book that appointment now because that was stressful using a car dealership for the RV.
But it worked.
Back on the road.